What is up everyone, DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today I have a really good one on the NS4FX from Numark. It is a 4-channel controller and it is very good. It's a professional grade controller and it's still good in 2023, so I definitely want to talk about it. It is a value too right now. Prices continue to go dropping down on it, and so it's a good time to pick it up as well. So thank you so much for tuning in to DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you've never tuned into my channel, just know I love to do tech reviews, do all that research for you, give it to you as easy as possible, and then leave some links in case you're interested in the products that we talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in to DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. Thank you. That's all I can say. We continue to grow this channel. It's awesome. I'm excited. Join the Martini Nation and let's continue to make review videos. So thank you so much. And we're just building a great community where everybody's really cool, great feedback, great conversation. So thank you so much. All right, let's get into the video. I got a lot to go through here. Let's just go into the specs. I did buy this used, so I don't have the original box for it. I did pick it up from Guitar City or Guitar Central, whatever you want to call that. And it was a great value. Somehow I picked it up for around $300, which is extremely good value. These do retail for $549, which is kind of intermediate when it comes to DJ controllers. There is some other controllers out there at that price, but they're kind of like different. You know, if you're looking for that standalone controller or things like that, that are comparable to this. But this does have some good options on it that makes it a little bit more professional than some of those other controllers, like the Numark, or sorry, like the Hercules 500, which is around the $400 mark, $399 mark. They have some great features on that, but it doesn't. They come with things like the XLR inputs and things like that that would make it a little bit more professional. So that's still one of my favorite controllers, the new, Hercules 500, but this one does have some added things, and that's why I kind of picked it up as well. So let's talk about some of the specs. Like I said, I don't know exactly what you get in the box, but I do know that you at least will get the power cord, the DJ controller, an instruction manual, and it does come with Serato DJ Lite, which we'll talk about the positives and negatives on that. I do, of course, use all my controllers with Virtual DJ because it's usually plug and play, and they will work with Virtual DJ as well. It is a 24-bit audio interface that it does come with this. It does have 6-inch platters, but technically we'll show you the 6 inches on there when we go down to the platters. It does have built-in FX, which I will show you as well. XLR outputs on the outside, and you know, a 4-deck controller with the 4 channels. So it doesn't have 4 individual jog wheels, but it does have 4 up faders and 4 channels that you can deal with all your full EQ and things like that. Let's go ahead and just take you down to the controller, and as we go, I'll go with some of the options that it does have, and it'll be easier to just show you where they're at. So it definitely is still good in 2023 in my opinion. I will compare it to another controller that if you're looking at, you know, you might just want to save up a little bit more money and you can afford this one, and you can definitely grow into this one and grow out of it as well, because it can definitely help you down the line. So like, it can help you as a professional DJ, and it can also help you as a beginning DJ. If you can just save a little bit more money up and afford this one, then you can grow into it, and like I said, down the line you can just keep it in your kit, because I'll show you that you'll be able to use it in the future as well. All right, so we are back. We got the controller here. We're gonna take a full look at the Numark NS4FX. Like I said, it is retailing at $549, but you can find this controller for about $499, and if you find it used, you can find it between maybe $300. And if you can find it for that price, it's an absolute steal, and I'll tell you the reasons why. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the front of the controller really quick. You do have your microphone input here with levels and a tone as well, and then you have your little cross buttons for your channels, so you can switch between the crossfader here if you want, you know, whatever channels you want for the A and B. So you do have that on the front. Let's go look at the back real quick. So this is what kind of makes this professional. One is it has its own power, which is great if you're a mobile DJ. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's good that it has its own power. You have a ground clip here for record players. You have a power button here, your USB type B to hook it into your computer. XLR outputs So that's great for a professional DJ because that's usually what we're going to be using. And then you also have a booth output, but you can use that also as an output just for your RCA needs as well. You have an auxiliary channel and an extra microphone as well. So this is fantastic. I'm going to tell you the positives having auxiliary channel to come in, and that way you can use it in a case of an emergency as well. So I'm going to kind of set this down again. Saw everything on the back. You do have these 6-inch platters, but 6 inches is measured from the bottom of the platter, not the top. It's actually 5 inches on the top, but you do have these nice LED displays, which are fantastic, and they do show you some cool stuff that will plug in just a little bit. You do have just your normal stuff right here: play, cue, I believe this is sync, shift, and then you do have cue, auto loop, fader cuts, and sample. I'll show you a little bit of examples of that in here in a little bit when we plug it all in. You do have your 8 pads, really cool, and it does have some extra features with Serato. This is a Serato made controller. So if you have the full Serato DJ Pro, you actually have a lot of features that you can use with this. If you're only using the Serato DJ Lite that it comes with, you're kind of losing some stuff. So I wish it was just come with Serato DJ Pro, somehow some kind of feature that you could just have Serato DJ Pro included in the price and you could just use the full potential of this controller. Up here you do have your mic 1 inputs right here, so this is where your line would be. So you can switch from mic to line, and then you have the levels for that. So that's that auxiliary channel. These are your gains right here. So say, and I'm going to talk about this. So if you're a mobile DJ and you have this controller, you run into your laptop, you run into some issues where something crashes, your laptop crashes, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, this controller has its own power, so it doesn't matter if you have to reset your laptop or turn it off or do whatever, you're already going to have power to your device. So all you need to do is have, which I always do, I always have an extra tablet or my phone or something, and I can plug it straight into here and I can still play music from the gain right here. I don't have extreme control over the music I'm playing, but at least I can play some music until I can get my laptop back up. And that is an extremely good backup plan and extra feature of having a auxiliary or third channel, as I call it, is you have that third extra channel in here. And I call it that, a third channel, because usually controllers are only 2 channels. This is actually a 4-channel controller when it comes to the software part, but it's cool to have this auxiliary channel is what I should call it. Okay, so having this auxiliary channel can be a lifesaver if something goes down on your laptop and you have to just play from your tablet or play from a phone for a little bit until you can get those up and working. So I've only had that happen one time to me, but it was nice, and it was, like I said, a lifesaver. Nobody even noticed that I was having issues because I was still playing music through this extra auxiliary channel. So can help you. All right, so you do have 4 channels on this particular mixers. Now a lot of DJs don't use 4 channels these days, but it's an option to have it, and you really, you still have your 2 channels that you need, but like I said, you can always grow into it, or you can grow out of it where you don't use it, but it's there if you need it, okay? And it's always better to have it and not need it than need it and want it, So let's see, you have your complete 3 EQ band right here, treble, mids, and bass. You have a filter knob, which does have the low and high filter already, which we'll talk about here in the FX section, but you do have your gains or your level volumes up here. You do have a browse knob, and you can load tracks from here, which is fantastic. I love that. You have your dry and wet knob for your FX, your beats. You have 4 built-in FX here. You have high filter, low filter, flanger, phaser, reverb, and echo. Now I think it was a waste to put your high filter and low filter. Now there is a little bit more control there, but you have that here already. Why do you need it here? They could have put something better, two extra FX here. So that's my big complaint. They could have put 2 extra ones, and you could have had almost 8, because you already have your high and low filter here that you can mess with, and you don't need them here. So that's a little gripe, but I wish they would have done that. So you do have technically 6 FX with your extra filter knobs as well. So they do have the click style, which I am starting to like a little bit more, where you can click it in or you can toggle it and let it go for a little bit if you want to add effects, but it is nice that you have built-in effects in this controller. go straight from the controller. They do work on, you know, the fader out and things like that. Same side, same issues on this side. You do have your filter knobs, you do have high, mids, lows, and trebles, you do have your gains, and you do have nice fader knobs. Now these do have some tension on them. There is some tension, so you're not going to be doing crazy fader cuts or anything with these, I'll tell you that. The actual crossfader is okay, but it does have a little bit of distance when you pick it up. You can change that in the settings a little bit, but scratchers might have a little issue with the crossfader. It's not the greatest for scratching, but you can get it done. All right, I'll put it that. And I'm not a huge scratcher, but I do know that, you know, it does have a little extra learning curve to it. So you have the same thing on this side, except on this side you do, and I guess you do have them the same. You have loop and you have your in and out. You can start your loops and you can decide when you want them to go in or out. You do have your pitch bends. You do have your scratch mode here, and you do have long pitch faders, which are excellent for beat matching. So really cool there. On here you do have your booth out and your main volume as well. So you have main volumes and your booth volume too if you're hooked up to some monitor speakers or something like that. All right, let's go ahead and plug it in, and I'm going to go ahead and speed that up. All right, so let's go ahead and fire it up here, and I'm going to go ahead and get my computer here ready. And like I said, I'm going to hook into Virtual DJ, but it does work really good with Serato DJ Lite, which it does come with, but you also have Serato DJ Pro that it will work with, and it will give you full benefits of everything. I do have my little test songs here. You can see that the controller is going crazy. All right, so once you plug in to your Virtual DJ, you will see that we're going to go ahead and go from my computer speakers here so we can hear it. But we are automatically in, and you can see that I have a song loaded on this tracking of where you're at, you know. So that's cool on the song. You can also have your different, you have sample bank right here, fader cuts, auto loop, cue. So if I made a cue at the beginning of this song right here, there, now I have a lit up cue button, and that's going to start the song. You can change that in the features. Let me get a little volume on my laptop so you can hear something. All right, so that is working. You can see that. And like I said, you can scratch here. Turn the volume down here. You can hear that. All right, you can do some scratching. These are very light though. Like you can spin those and you can see they actually spin for a while. So they're very light. There's no tension on these at all. So they can do awesome backspins on them, but they do have light tension on them. So that's something that could be a negative or a positive for somebody out there. And, you know, you can get up to 4 channels that you can control on here, plus an extra auxiliary channel too that you could hook up here if you have some kind of tablet or something you wanted to hook up there. Do have, you know, full access to your sample decks. And then the only other thing that I really need to show you, because everything else is pretty basic. Now you do have pitch and play, which is extra on Serato DJ, just something to put out. You have to pay extra for that. Even if you have Serato DJ Pro, you pay extra for that. You have a roll, a slicer, and a scratch bank. Scratch bank's been out for a little while, so I'm not going to really get into that either. So you can check that out on Serato. It does work pretty well. The fader cuts, it does work on Virtual DJ as well. So you just go to fader cuts. And basically what it does is it gives you, each button is a different type of fader cut. So it might be like a 1 click, or maybe half a click, or, you know, a full cutout. For crossfader like I am right now, it's actually doing it within the software. So let's see if I can get this song going real quick again. So when I'm pushing the button on the software, and I'll kind of go up to my software right here, you can see, let's go to my computer here. So I'm hitting the fader cut button right now, and you see it's affecting the fader button right there. And then here's another button. So it's just doing different fader clicks. So you can actually practice a little bit if you want. it can kind of teach you how to do different fader cuts. And that's what it does. So it's kind of fun to play with. But it's nothing that you can really use to DJ, in my opinion. It's more for practice. The only one that I could mess with a little bit is the very first one, which actually kind of cues the song out. Kind of like that's kind of an effect there, in my opinion. I do like that one. You can kind of use maybe for some transitions or things like that, but other than that, they're more for learning. And it does work on Virtual DJ. Works a little bit better on Serato DJ Pro, but I just wanted to show you that it does work on Virtual DJ as well. FX real quick, let's do an echo. I do a lot of echoes out. It does do it on the out there, you can see. So you can see that you can use it here on some outs. And it does fade out, so it does work. Here's the reverb here. Phaser. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. You better back off and get lost. I'ma stay that, stay proud. Never running out, never heading south. I'll be can't put it down. You can never doubt. Now what? So now I do, like I said, you already have high filter and low filter on the knob. Why do you need high filter and low filter on here? They could have put 2 other filters on there and it would have made me much happier. Anyways, so that's my little gripe. But you can't see where you're at with the LCD screens, which is cool. Also gives you your BPM, the time remaining. You can change that if you want time remaining or actual how much of the song is played. And then it gives you your pitch, where you're at on your pitch as well. Right here, I'm at 0% right now, and that's about it. I got my notes right here, and I didn't want to go into crazy details, but I definitely wanted to just kind of put some things out about it. There is another controller called the Numark Mixtrack Pro FX, and it's very similar looking to this, but it is a lot cheaper. It's about $279 right now. And if you're looking at that controller, I would almost tell you it's a good controller. It has a lot of the features, but it's just missing some of the professional features like an extra microphone, the XLR inputs, extra auxiliary channel. You know, some of those can definitely go a long way, and it's really nice to have. So if you can afford a little bit more and find one of these used, I would definitely do that instead of getting the Mixtrack Pro FX. Now, it is very similar. The only thing is it's only 2 channels. It does have the LCD screens, it has the 6FX, but it's missing those XLR inputs and that auxiliary channel, which I think is worth the extra $100 or $150. You can definitely find it in between there. So if you're going to pay $279, I would try to find this controller maybe used for $399, and I think that would be it would go a long way in the future for you. NS4FX, I would definitely go with this controller instead, and like I said, you may not need them, but maybe in the future it could be helpful. So also, you can't just power this with the USB cable. You definitely have to plug into power here. So if I unplug my power here, you have to actually have power this. It won't power just from a USB cord from your laptop. So something to keep in mind, you have to plug it in. You can't just run power from the USB cord because it does need some extra juice for all the extra features that it's running. All right, so let's get into some of the positives for sure. It did retail at $549, so it was kind of expensive for what it is, but it does have some of those professional features, like I said. It does have bigger jog wheels. They say large jog wheels, but I think they're pretty standard these days to have 6-inch or 5-inch jog wheels. So a decent crossfader, but the cut-in distance, like I said, might be a little issue for really hardcore scratchers. I don't know if this is a scratch controller at all, but definitely for mobile DJs and things like that, this is a really good controller for that. Is some resistance in the up faders as well. All good for, you know, a professional type controller with the 2 mics, XLR, the booth outputs. You know, some of the cool things that you can use it to learn, like the fader cuts, is kind of cool, learning the patterns. the post FX, so when you can use it with the faders, you'll still have your FX after the fader. So some of the negatives that I have is that Mixtrack Pro is very similar to this. So if you don't care about having XLRs, if you don't care about having an extra microphone, if you don't care about having that auxiliary channel, and you just need a controller really similar to this, then you can save $100, $200, depending on what price you're going to get this at, and go with the $279 for that Mixtrack Pro FX, and it'll still work pretty good for you if you just want to kind of start out with it. But if you wanted to upgrade with something that has a little bit more professional stuff that you can grow into with those XLR inputs, with the extra microphone and everything I keep talking about, you might want to just save up just a little bit more money and find a used one, or splurge on it for $499, which is an extra $200, I know, but it definitely has those extra features that can be helpful. Other than that, who could this controller work for? Definitely, like I said, a beginning DJ. If you can save up and kind of go with this, you're going to be able to grow into it and get a lot of extra features with it in the future that you're not going to have to go, oh man, now I need to go get an extra mixer because I want an auxiliary channel, or when I'm doing club type stuff, I need XLRs to go into their system and things like that, and I have to buy a special cable now because I don't have that. And so some of the little things that I'm talking about can actually help with just going with this controller instead. So you can definitely grow into it. Definitely intermediate DJs or experienced DJs, it could work for you too, because it definitely, with that auxiliary channel, if you're a mobile DJ, that can be a lifesaver, having that auxiliary channel where you can still have power to your controller. If your laptop goes down, you could switch out laptops, or you can still play music while you're switching out laptops because you have that auxiliary channel, you have your tablet or phone plugged into that channel. You're still playing music while you're trying to figure out why your laptop's down. You're resetting it, you're doing things like that, and you can still play music. And that's a big bonus for any DJ out there, and I'm pretty sure somebody can claim to having to do that before. So I think it can be for a beginning DJ, intermediate DJ, and a professional DJ. It's a good piece of kit. You can take it with you. It's portable. It's something of a controller that you can keep, and it's going to work for some situation for you. And that's kind of what the Hercules 500 has also done for me, because it's a little bit more simple than this controller, but at the same time it has some cool features with some legs and some extra things that I do like about it. So I'm going to hold on to that controller. It does have an auxiliary channel too. I'm going to hold on to that controller. I'm going to hold on to this controller, and I know that in the future that these are some good options for me depending on what I need in the future. So really cool. I definitely wanted to bring it to you. I did have thoughts about it too with that Pro FX. I thought about, why don't I just get the cheaper Pro FX? Like I said, I ended up going with this because that auxiliary channel was really a bonus, and definitely I think worth the extra money. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you have any more questions, leave some comments. I'll gladly get back to you as quick as I can. This has been a little review on the NS4FX from Numark, a 4-channel controller with a bunch of extra features that I think is worth the price these days, where you can find this for $499, but you can find it used for even as less as $300. So kind of do some shopping for it, find a used one or things like that, and you can get a good value on this controller as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's been DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If this is helpful at all, please leave a like or subscribe, and catch me really soon on my next video, where I have all kinds of tech and all kinds of valued items for you to take a look at. See you real soon on my next video. Talk to you later.